Okay, I am going to be doing a routing tutorial for Elden Ring no-hit running, specifically a smithing stone route and a route with the iron balls in mind. You may notice I'm on patch 107. The balls are actually better on 108, which is current patch, so it doesn't really affect routing, but we're going to kind of do a little tutorial here. Anyway, we started Samurai with cracked pots. That's important. Some of you may have seen GinoMachino's stream where he taught BlueberryBrioche this route, and this is essentially the same thing with a few minor tweaks. Kind of some quality of life tweaks. It kind of streamlines the routing process a little bit, and also makes two of the bosses a little bit easier. I'll explain that as we go, but they did a ritual sword talisman setup with Blue Dancer. On this one, I would recommend Blue Dancer, and we're just gonna get Red Feather Branch sword because it's kind of like right in the way, and it's pretty free to get. Not that ritual sword isn't, but it's kind of a preference thing. You could definitely do this route with ritual sword, but on certain bosses where you might want the extra damage from Red Feather, like, you'll have it at your disposal, so just something to consider. Nothing too noteworthy at the start, just get out into Limgrave as quick as you can. So this is the this is the Church of Ella. We're just gonna grab a smithing stone 1 here, maybe, and the grace. We do need to buy things here, but we're gonna come back like in a very strategic manner that will give us what we need when we need it, and kind of save some setup time, I guess. If we warp back here later, Ronnie will be there, and she will change it to nighttime, and that prevents us from having to sit down at a grace ever and change it to night manually. We just picked up 4 kukris, very important for this setup. But yeah, basically it prevents us from having to talk to Melina. We just go to round table 1 time on this setup, the way I'm routing this setup, and it just makes things more streamlined, and after that, you just go start killing bosses. We'll kill a few along the way, but they're not, like, that important, or they're pretty free, basically.
Have you heard? They serve, but you, I can play turning to aid you. You need to the foot of the earth. Then it said, summon me.
You guys know this part, I'm sure.
It will summon
We just need Torrent.
Treat him with...
Alright, so the first thing we need to pick up after this is the flail, which is over here on a wagon. Just kind of ride around here, lock onto this guy, do our L2 weapon art with the R2 fire arrow, and it one-shot him. Now I'm gonna grab the map piece here. You definitely don't need to do this. And this next little portion is optional, I would say. But I highly recommend it. It will streamline the setup and make 2 bosses easier later. So I'm gonna head northeast from here. This is where we would normally go. You don't need that map piece, by the way. I just wanted to show you where we're going. We're going up to this place. So kind of hop up here. There's gonna be a rider usually that passes. You can just like let him go by. I just kind of skirt the left side of this structure. There's some wolves down here. Just kind of skirt around the right side. And then here's this other structure with the grace. We're just gonna go down here and like turn around and drop down on like the right side here, and we shouldn't even take fall damage. And we're gonna head south into the water, and we're gonna get kicked off a torrent now. And I just walk back personally this way. I've seen a glitch where if you run backwards and despawn this invader too fast, he gets stuck in your world. So we don't want to run back until it says he's been sent home. And then around the time it pops up a second time, it'll let you get back on torrent. And continue on. But the idea here is to kill Patches. And if we do that, we get his weapon and we get access to Margit's Shackle, which makes the Margit fight and the Morgott fight completely free. At least when I tested this route, they were fully scripted with the shackle. It really doesn't matter what you do here. Like you can jump the bell, you can ring it. It doesn't really matter. Just get in here and open this chest, and then Patches will start his little monologue. The idea here is to outspace everything he does and get him to do his breath attack. So if he's just idling, he'll probably do it. We just stay at mid-range, basically. We're just waiting for him to do the right attack. He might do it here in a second. Here it is. Just go up and do an L2, R2 unsheath and then roll away. I did another one. I couldn't see him through the mist. That will happen. See, if you're mid-range, like, he can't really get you. I didn't even, like, really react to that very quickly. Just roll away instantly just so you get out of the range of any of his follow-ups. You have to hit him 4 times. Then you can just, like, drink mana. Finish him off with 2 more unsheaths. I would maybe make a save state for this fight and just kind of learn his moveset a little bit. But now we go back to Gatefront. And so the reason I do this so early is because I guess there's a chance you could get hit there. The miss obviously doesn't count as a hit, but I just do that early because of this next part. Oops, I don't know why I picked that up. You definitely don't need that lump of flesh. I do grab this mushroom though. I whack that guy usually, but I didn't have any stamina. You really don't have to do that though. He's a snitch and I tried to give him a stitch, that's all. Anyway, get the golden seed, cut right, come grab these 3 smithing stones. We now have a total of 4. We need 12. 12 number 1s. Some mushroom pickups through here. We need those for different things. And we want to grab this grace. Anyway, we head northeast from Stormhill Shack, and we're just looking for this giant, basically, and we're gonna just kind of like cycle around him and pick up this strength not to tier. This gives us plus 10 strength for 3 minutes, and then kind of drop off and head south. Don't go straight to the grace or like wolves will spawn. Just kind of like cut around this way. All right, and then here's where the spear comes into play. You can wield it with like starting stats, and it's a +7 spear. It's very strong. So what I do here is I do 2 charged R2s into his back. He doesn't aggro yet.
I won't say it twice.
And then I can get a backstab.
I suppose I have no choice then.
2 steps forward, another charged R2. You kind of have to learn his moveset a little bit, but the L2s are basically what you're trying to do. Like, outspace whatever he does or roll it, and then, like, L2 at the appropriate time. And I'll show you where we're at on the map. So we started here, we went up here to get the strength knots here, we dropped down, and then we came here. Now we want to get up to here. So I'll just put, like, a marker, and we'll go that way. But yeah, you just kind of head like north, pretty much, from the shack. And then just kind of jump up here wherever you can. I do want my Uchi back, by the way. And then, yeah, kind of the idea here is to get in behind this guy. 2 unsheaths. Should knock him off the horse. And just riposte him. Should die. And we want that golden bow, Ash of War. I kind of run back this way a tiny bit. You could maybe drop down a different way. Like, you really don't need what's in this camp on this run. It's just kind of a habit for me. But this Exalted Flesh could be really useful. Specifically for Margit, I'm pretty sure if you take an Exalted Flesh with Golden Bow and your Physic before Margit, you can just like one cycle him with a shackle. You can like run straight up to him, shackle him, do like 3 charged R2s to stun him, and then like, I don't know, maybe you can even do a charged R2 before you riposte him, and then he might just be dead. Maybe. Something like that. This Grace is what you will want to grab to come back to later for the Blue Dancer charm. It's down underneath this bridge in a cave. And I would say, like, in my testing, the Blue Dancer charm is like very, very useful with this build specifically. Especially for like Fire Giant and Godskin duo specifically, and maybe even Gideon. It's really important. Anyway, so since we killed Bernal early, we can just buy stuff from him right now, which is nice. So we want to buy 3 more smithing stones, the cracked pot, and I grabbed the short sword here. It's only 600 runes. It's for Golden Vow. You could buy something at Round Table later to put Golden Vow on, like the rapier or whatever, dagger maybe. I buy the dagger to put Assassin's Gambit on later. It's really up to you. It doesn't really matter. It is cheaper than, I think, all of the Round Table weapons, though, so. And honestly, that really doesn't matter. I just walk off here and then do 1 single jump. If you double jump, you will die. There's a few ways to drop there, so I would just do whatever's consistent. I grabbed that number 6 rune. Here's the cookbook we need for sleep pots for Godskin duo. There's a number 2 one over here you can grab, and like another number 4. Whoops. We'll just grab them all. But because we kill Bernal already, we get like quite a few runes. It lets us buy basically what we need from the merchants early. In some somber routes, you would kill like Alexander. Like you'd kill like Golden Vow Knight and Alexander, and that would be enough to give you the runes you need for that merchant. But with this exact routing, with the patches kill, we kill Bernal early, which, you know, could go wrong. Like that's not... It's kind of an easy fight with that spear, but it definitely will take some practice. I would make a save state before you fight him and like learn his moveset a little bit. He's got a few different ones. He's got like a sweeping attack, like a stab. He's got like a weapon art that shoots out like a beam of like wind. Whoops. What am I doing? Come on. Anyway, go up this Spirit Spring. There we go. Skirt around the right side here. There's another lily here. Oh, I forgot to mention, I picked up 3 lilies on that one structure that we passed before we dropped down for the cookbook. We need, the more you have, the better. They're like right in the path, so you might as well grab them. Anyway, we head northeast from the Spirit Springs up to this smoldering wall, I guess it's called. This grace is called Rot View Balcony. And so this is, you could do this now, but you don't need to. Basically, if I wanted to do all of my Caelid routing now, I could go down to that fort and grab Flame Grant Me Strength around the left side. Basically, you just come over here, and you can drop down, like, kind of right where Torrent's head is, like, touching. We could go grab Flame Grant Strength now, but you really don't need it yet. In fact, we want to go to that fort later to get to the Radagon Festival, using the teleporter there, but we need Assassin's Gambit for that, which we don't have yet. And that wouldn't be until after Godric anyway. And after Godric, you can put like 2 points into Faith and get his Great Rune, which will give you enough stats to cast Flame Grant Strength. So I would recommend just picking that up after Godric, while you're working your way over to that teleporter there. And then once you go through the teleporter, you can go back across the bridge, grab the Cragblade Ash of War, and put those on the fist, which is really useful. It's like 10% more poise for 1 minute. And that would be like an ideal time to do that, like right before Radagon. Would be a great time to use that Cragblade. So you could do it now, but like it's really not necessary yet. I grabbed this Grace just so I can teleport back here after we buy what we need up here at this merchant. It just saves a little bit of time. So kind of just go up here. We kind of just angle towards the minor Erd tree here. Just keep your eyes out left and right. Like these dogs kind of path around in different ways. But the idea is to kind of just stay on the left side of this hill, and then you should be okay. And then we're going to talk to this guy.
Well, there's been an Haight. How can I help?
I'll sell him what I have. Not that I need it, but just get rid of him. We're just buying the beast repellent torch here. And so this is like kind of specific. Like you want to put the beast torch where the bow was in your offhand. And then I'm just going to put the bow into my main hand for now. Basically what this does is it allows us to have the torch on our back always. Which it still counts as working if it's on our back, basically. So we'll just warp back to this. You can't really see where we are because I don't have the map pieces, but I'll grab like any map pieces that we come across. So normally you'd go up near that tower for like a somber smithing stone route. We don't need to do that on this one, so we can just kind of go straight over here to the east towards the big dragon and Fort Barrett. I kind of skirt around these dragons that are down here. It might be safe just to run straight through. I don't really do this route normally, so this way I know should be safe. Here's a little stake you can use as like a guide, but kind of like jump up on the left along this ridge. And I just kind of go around the left side of this big chungus. I'm going to equip my samurai armor for this part. It's depending how you do this, like you could potentially avoid getting a poison proc by wearing your armor. So I would highly recommend that. I'm going to grab the Grace here because we're going to teleport back out. But come up these stairs and just like hit your sword over here. That'll lure the guys on the inside. And then you can just like kind of sneak run through here. And the guy on the right probably sees you. You can just kind of like run once you get close to the stairs. And then they may shoot poison in here. And if 2 of them do, that's when the armor would save you from getting procced. But honestly, if you hit the wall, you may not even ever get 2 of them to shoot at you at the same time, but just a precaution. So let me pull up the torch here so we can see what we're doing here. You want to run to the second hole. And then I grabbed this rune. It's worth 7,500. It's like right here. And jump this gap. And then we just drop down here. I immediately sneak so we can like lose aggro. Grab Radagon's Source Seal. I like equip it right away, just mainly so I don't forget. But that usually gives you enough time for like the aggro to go away, and then we can work back outside. And then we're gonna go, I'm gonna show you guys one more thing. Like, you don't necessarily need to grab this at all, but it is right here, and it's actually quite valuable, like rune-wise. Up on top of here is 2 Smithing Stone 7s and a Smithing Stone 8. So that'll just save you later. Now we're going to go back to the Third Church of America. And head south. Kind of heading towards the Erd Tree there. Elevator, just go around the side. Now, with the red feather setup, you're going to want to grab 7 of these. At least 7. I just kind of like spam through all here, and we want to pick up this spiked crack tier. That's the charge attack tier. We're going to use that in our physic. Alright, so I grab 2 lilies in front of him. There's 5 total here, but if you grab them all, he will aggro. So. And then the Axe Talisman gives us a charge attack buff as well. So I usually just grab 3 of the 5 lilies, grab that 3rd one on my way out. Those are what you use to craft sleep pots, which most people would use on Godskin Duo, and possibly like even like Fire Giant, like newer strats. And then this guy will sell us our last Smithing Stone 1s that we need. You could even like sell him this rune now if you want. And now we're going to Fort Haight, where we'll get the second Dectus Medallion half. We don't need that Grace down there. If you were doing all Remembrances, you'd want to grab it. But here we can kind of just like jump up here, skirt around the right side. It's just about dawn now in the game, so it's not quite nighttime. You can grab this golden seed if you want. This jump's a little tricky. You have to double jump really fast and on the right side of this like platform, and it'll let you up here. Anyway, come to the door, lock on, do your weapon art, R1. As long as you have the beast torch here, the rats will not mess with you. Come up to this first platform and immediately start your weapon art. That guy stands up, but he sits back down, so you want to make sure you get him before he sits back down. And then I sneak past this part because this guy on the outside that shoots the arrows could hear you. And then we also want to be crouched up here. Shoot an arrow into the wood pile. Switch to your Uchi and sneak run around the right side of this guy. There's a script to kill this guy with the +0 Uchi with starting stats. It's a charged R2, an L2 R2, like a heavy unsheath, then a riposte, and then a tap R2. Basically as soon as you can do it. So we're just going to get a little closer. Charged R2, heavy unsheath, riposte him, and then just spam R2. And then it'll be perfect timing. Oh, we got some stuff from him. We got some loot. You don't have to spam. If you know the timing, that's fine too. But basically, as soon as it lets you tap R2, do it, and then he'll die before he can do an attack, and it'll land right after his iframes end. And now we have the second deck to half. So here we're gonna do something a little bit cheeky. We're gonna go back to Church of Ella. This changes it back to nighttime, without having to sit and talk to Melina. Now, we can't buy anything here yet because she's here, so we're just going to leave right away. We're just going to go back to the Storm Hill and continue on. We'll come back here in a little while, one more time, just to buy what we need. But we're going to start heading northwest now. And we're just going to go up to Liurnia now and do some more setup stuff. So, we're like 23 minutes in. I could have been a lot faster. I was like stopping to show you guys some stuff, but we're also doing a little bit extra specifically for this setup, like Patch's Bell Bearing, for example. You really don't need that. If you want to fight Margit and Morgott normally, like, go buck wild. But with this weapon and with a shackle, it makes those fights basically free, if not like completely free. So like, why lose a run if you don't have to? Plus, getting the extra runes from Bernal is really nice for this setup, and we'll be able to get Gambit before we even go to Round Table. So when we go to Round Table, we can just buy Gambit right away. It's like a one-stop shop, basically, is the reason I'm doing it in this order. We only have to go to Round Table once, and then we can start fighting things. Well, we will go back a few times, but it's just kind of nice to just only have to go there the one time. So there may be, I know you can like take a skip to go down over there, but we need to get to this merchant. You could grab a sacred tier in there. It's really not necessary. I always skip it. But we're going to this merchant because we want to get three number 2 smithing stones. We need to get 12 of those as well. So we have 12 number 1s. We need to get 12 number 2s. So this first merchant here in Liurnia sells 3.
You're surprised, you. No matter, no, why don't you? Oh, but don't ask.
Alright, so buy those, and then head kind of east, basically. I could grab the map piece here, but it only shows, like, this right side of the lake, and we spend, like, such little time over here. It's not really worth it. Plus, grabbing it's risky. Not that it matters if I get hit or anything, but I'm gonna skip that map piece. I'll grab the other one, I think, and then I'll be able to show you guys some spots a little bit easier. So we just kind of like go around this building. You could actually, in the basement of that building, there's the Faith Talisman, the 2 Fingers Heirloom, I think it's called. Gives you +5 Faith. If you were to put two levels into Faith and put that talisman on, you could cast Flame Grant Me Strength early, which you could use on like Margit and Godric. But you know, you could also just use like an Exalted Flesh that we got. So you need a little bit of extra damage. So don't forget about the Exalted Flesh. Make sure you grab this Grace because we're gonna warp back here a couple of times. All right, so I go over here. Jump this railing. I can kind of jump onto this tree. And we are going to grab 3 more smithing stones here. Alright, so what we want to do is, like, I don't know, throw a kukri like over here. Or maybe the dude will just go for this one. you don't go out that way. Throw a Koopa wherever the crab is facing and see if you can get him to go after it. Then you can pick up those smithing twos. I think I'll go grab the map piece here. Normally you would just go down that way. I'll grab the map piece so we can like kind of see what's going on. Alright, so here's like Liurnia. Here's Boilprawn Shack. That's where we're going. We're going to go over here at some point, and we're going to go here at some point. So there's kind of the setup there. And there's lobsters, so I'm going to go back this way just to be safe. Yeah, normally you get spit out like right about where this bridge is, and then you just go like kind of straight south from there. I go towards the corner of this structure right here because there's a couple of lilies there, which are nice to have. Don't get too close to the lobsters. There's 3 more lilies right here as well. Alright, so here we're going to pull out the flail, which we can now use with Radagon's Sword Seal. And we just hold L2. And then we got Raya's necklace. I'm going to take this Grace. Now, this would be like... We're going to grab one more thing before we go warp out of here. This little hut over here is 3 more smithing stone tubes, but you have to be kind of quick here, so I'm gonna make sure my little map indicator wasn't going to pop up. Basically just go around the left side of this dead one and then jump in here, grab this, and immediately warp back to Boilprawn, and they won't be aggroed. It takes them a while to like get up basically, but that gave us 9 of the 12 we need. But now we do actually have to go back to Church of Ella. Maybe if you're quick enough, you could just warp straight there from that hut, but I mean, you don't want to get aggroed on those guys.
And I can also that you're not. Then why I am caught.
So we want to purchase 3 more craft pots, the crafting kit, and Missionary's Cookbook 1.
Goodbye.
And then warp back to Boilprawn. Now we're going to go kind of southeast, and we're going to craft 7 of these and equip them. And kind of just jump to the top of this structure. I kind of wait back here a little bit to see what he's going to do. Like sometimes he tries to attack. We want him to get stuck, so eventually he'll just stand still. Alright, so he stood still. Now we're going to free aim some holy pots at him. If he's standing about that far away, I usually just like use my crotches to line up where I can barely see his head like between my legs. And then it should... That was like a pretty good hit. Fuck, he turned. He's gonna jump at us now, I think. Alright, we only hit him with 1. We gotta hit him with all 4, I think, now, headshots to kill him. So we just gotta get him to stop again. He's kind of a dick in that way, but... Alright, here we go. Alright, so this is actually good that it went badly here, because now... Oh, hang on, let's make sure he doesn't attack. If you don't land all of them, it's not a big deal. As long as you get, like, enough. We just want him to, like, de-aggro again, kind of. Alright, so we just do weapon art fire arrows at him. That's like worst case scenario, like you don't land all your pot throws. Not a huge deal. Like if you want to practice that, I would make a save state and practice the free aiming, but maybe there's a better way to line it up. If he's like closer to the place, I just use like my pelvis as a lineup. I just like block his head with my pelvis, and then it's like a pretty good lineup.
It's rather cheap. My mistress said, but I was a cost. Could I ask you, let thug me only if you've... Oh, what a blessing. The thug should be, please. The thug, please. Oh, yeah. Thank you kindly. Did I forget to...
So because we killed Boggart to get our iron balls, we also got her necklace.
Strength, please.
And now we can go to Volcano Manor, which we really only have to go to get Assassin's Gambit, so we don't have to do like anything else there. Now we're gonna go back to South Raya Gate, and we're gonna grab some more kukris and the key to Raya. Not because we need to like fight Renala or anything. We just want to have a faster way to get to the lift, and we honestly need more kukris for this setup. Alright, so we're gonna head to this gazebo. You wanna be quick here. And I'll show you why. If you're quick enough, those spells cannot hit you. They stop after a certain point. So basically head northwest though. And that gave us our last smithing stone twos. Now we have 12 of each. And that prevents us from having to get the bell bearing for 1s and 2s. So, kind of nice. Here's another point where we want to be kind of fast. We're going to get the Academy key and these kukris, and then just warp back to the Grace again. And you should be able to do that as long as you don't take too long. Going through here just to like kind of fast travel us to where we want to get closer to the elevator. So I'm going to take a way that I normally take. It goes through the church. There's a sacred tear there we'll grab. I don't see you needing very many of those for this run, but it's like kind of right here. And then out here, we do have our Beast Torch on still. I kind of always keep the Beast Torch out on my back, just so, especially through setup, because you know, there's a lot of wolves and different animals around. Like, it's just nice to not have to worry. If you stay far enough left here, the like catapults won't attack you. And we want to grab this rune arc right here because normally you grab one where the somber smithing stones are in Caelid, but we don't need to like waste time going there. We can just grab this one. And we're up to the lift. Back for the next part. Okay, so up here, the first thing you always want to do is get the Grace. Don't talk to Raya yet. You want to be able to warp back to this Grace, especially if you want to get Ritual Sword Talisman or something like that. But come out here, go north, and you'll see the Grace. Now, I'm not going to talk to Raya yet, because I want to do that later on. I want to, like, do something that's more risky earlier on, basically. So, I mean, you could do that now if you wanted and just warp back here. It doesn't really matter. And it would be worth it, I think, to go to Volcano Manor if you could just, like, grab Gambit there and put it on something. But we don't have the Wet Blade, and you actually can't get it there. You have to join Volcano Manor, then buy it from the round table, and I'm just basically putting off going to the round table until we absolutely have to. So basically we're just heading east from the Grace, more or less, and we're coming up to the right side of these stairs that lead up to the capital, like, Phantom Wall or whatever they call it. This is pretty standard pathing. I see most runners come up this way. And then you can kind of like cut left once you're at this spot. And then you just kind of just run straight up the middle. These guys always kind of do the same thing. They just kind of like rear up. It's kind of like a scripted opener. And I usually just make sure that they're not like following before I grab the Grace. I guess we can grab the map. Yeah, they're gonna go back. So we do need this Grace. We're gonna come back. I'll kind of show you where we're at. So here we are. We started at the lift. We came over here. Now we're gonna go down to this mine. Whoops. You just kind of head east. And we're going down in this mine to get the bell bearing that gives you smithing stone 3s and 4s. And we can't get the next one until after the capital, so... There are ways to make your weapon stronger than plus 12 at this point in the game, if you want to do some extra setup, but... I would say with these balls, it's like really, really, really not necessary. They are so strong. It's kind of ridiculous. So we're going into this cave. Want to have the Uchi out here. We don't need to grab the Grace because we can't warp inside here anyway. So what you want to do is kind of like jump this gap over here. Jump over here. And then unsheath this guy twice. And that's enough to kill him. So he can't hit you while you do this chest. That's the bell bearing we need. And then we can literally just like run out safely. Don't whiff your unsheath and you'll be good. And we have to go all the way outside before we can warp because it's a cave that we haven't like cleared or whatever. So back to the outer Phantom Wall. Now in this next part, I'm not like super like good at this strat. Like I could definitely get hit and just mess it up. So I am going to make a backup save before we do this next part. It's just not a strat I do on my runs, so I'm not like super familiar with it. But it is very effective from what I've seen. Like Gino does it on like a lot of his runs that he's been doing. So I've seen it a ton of times. I'm not super great at it. I have done it several times just to try it out, but we'll see how it goes. And I know like which weapon you're using. I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but like I could do it with the Uchi, we could do it with the balls. Maybe we'll do it with the balls just because this is the ball run, I guess, but it doesn't really, well, maybe one's better than the other if they're +0, but really we're just trying to get a poise break, so it's not about the damage. I guess it's worth noting that there are some mushrooms right here at this tent. If you aren't good at picking up mushrooms, you may want to grab those just because you've already used 7 on your holy pots and you need more for sleep pots. So I've got 15. So I've been picking up like quite a few, but I'm like used to doing that. So yeah, come down here to where the road splits off to the right. And then it heads like southeast. And we're gonna go down and around. There's a quicker way using Gambit going left, but we don't have Gambit yet, so. And you could always just YOLO it, but I would not recommend that. Alright, so you come under here and like kind of loop back around and there's a spirit spring. And then jump up and like kind of head towards, like, just hug this right wall right here. Basically this prevents the giant from seeing you. And then head northeast, I guess. We want to kind of like go around to this right side. And you want your kukris out and your bow. And I'm gonna kind of head over this way. So let me make a save state really quick. Alright, so basically we're just gonna run forward until we get him to start walking. Usually like right about here or so we'll do it. We just want to like kind of bait him back this way. Come over here and get on this rock. And then throw a kukri like somewhere where he'll hear it. Maybe like a few. The idea is to get him near the edge. So like I think like right about here is where we want to go. Now we want to wait for him to turn around. Alright, that worked. Maybe there's a better way. I would definitely make a save state there and practice that. That's like maybe the 3rd time ever I've done that. So, but that gives us our early game runes, basically. So, a couple of things that we would want setup-wise that we don't have yet are Flame Grant Me Strength and Blue Dancer and Assassin's Gambit, but we can do the Gambit right now. Like, it's not a problem. So, there's our early game runes that we want. Now we can go talk to Raya.
I knew you. I hereby take my hand. Give me your... I will pray.
So yeah, so if it was me doing this run, I would kill Godric, go grab the Great Rune, go back to Round Table, or maybe not go back to Round Table right away, but go grab like Blue Dancer and Flame Grant Strength and the Craigblade near like the festival. Then before I fight Radagon, go back to Round Table, level up, equip the Great Rune, get Roger's Rapier, put the Ash of War of Craigblade on the balls, and then go fight Radagon. That's what I would do if it was me. Basically here all we have to do is, I grabbed the Grace just to have it, but you really don't, I don't think you really need it. We just need to join Volcano Manor.
Interest now you belong. The drawing room at Bishop.
So now that we have the drawing room key, we can go, you know what we can do actually. We have the drawing room key. We've joined Volcano Manor. Now we can actually rest here and talk to Melina.
Forgive me to determine if you had. It seems torrent, whereas there is, but I can take gathering. Very well. Let my hand.
So now we've done like all our setup. We've got our early game runes, and we have like almost everything we want. And we just now talk to her. So at this point, the run will like really pick up. So the first thing we should do is go buy a couple of things over here. Turn in some bell bearings and whatnot. So we're gonna offer her the smithing stone one. We need to offer Bernals. We need to offer patches. We don't really need to offer Bogarts or whatever. So with patches, we just want the shackle. And then with Bernals, we want Assassin's Gambit. You could get no skill to put on the torch just so you don't accidentally like use the torch weapon art. It's kind of optional. I'll do it just to do it, but so here you want to buy 12 smithing stone 3s and 12 smithing stone 4s. And then I would recommend buying the dagger for Assassin's Gambit and the seal. Might as well buy the seal while you're here, and then you don't have to like buy anything from her until you need to upgrade again. Now we'll go upgrade and do our Ashes of War and stuff like that.
You're in no matter how you.
So plus 12 Iron Ball. Ashes of War, we'll put Craigblade on that later. We can do no skill on the torch. Dagger, we can do Assassin's Gambit. I usually put Golden Bow on the short sword that we bought. You can put Bloody Slash on the Gucci. We don't need that anymore. And then that should be all our stuff. I don't think we have anything to sell to him. That's basically it, I think. So now we can level up, and then you would go fight Margit at this point. So I'm not actually going to like show the whole run. I just wanted to show the setup. If you're going to go fight Margit, change it to nighttime while you're here, because then Stormveil will also be nighttime, and you can do the Gambit strats to get through Stormveil very easily. And we picked up a ton of those. And I guess you can like look at that. We have so many flasks, like 4 and 4. Like you can do whatever. It doesn't really matter. We don't have Flame Grant Strength yet, so that's something we could pick up later. Physic-wise, you can just use Strength Knot in the charge attacks. It's like perfect for this run. And then, you know, leveling up, literally, like, just dump Strength. Like, that's really all you have to do. And yeah, and then you would just, you just go back to Stormhill Shack. And then just kind of set this up however you want, you know, like, if it was me, I would just have, like... Actually, I don't think I would have Gambit there. If it was me with Craigblade on these, I would have them in my offhand. That way when you buff with Craigblade, it carries. Like, you can keep it. You can buff with your right hand still. Like, you could still Golden Vow with Craigblade without, like, putting those away. So, yeah, if it was me, I would do something like this for my, like, buff setup. So, yeah, you could, like, buff with Craigblade and then, like, pull out this dagger and do Golden Vow and then do Flame Grant Strength, and then you'd be, like, pretty set up. And yeah, and then if you're gonna go fight Margit, like, don't forget to equip the shackle. But yeah, I mean, I would say that with this setup, you should be like pretty stacked for Margit. So let's check out our in-game time. 49 minutes. Like, I was going much slower than needed. Like, I picked up some map pieces and stuff, but literally, like, I bet Stormveil Castle with Margit included would take, like, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes. And then, you know, if you get the Great Rune, a few more minutes for that, and then, you know, like, on to Radagon, like, go all the way to, like, Redmane Castle, get Craigblade, get Flame Grant Strength, go through that little fort to get there quicker, like, taking the teleporters, and then, you know, come back here, like, put Craigblade on really quick. There's actually some Smithing Stone 5s or 6s, I think, like, in Redmane's, like, in between where you talk to the guy and, like, you take the elevator down to Radagon. Like, you could grab those smithing stones. If they're 5s, you might even be able to, like, level up one more time. But I don't know, 50-minute setup. It's kind of long, I guess, but you're super set up for this specific run, right? Like, you don't have to do patches, you don't have to do even red feather if you don't want, but with this routing, you can take care of Bernal early for runes and for the Gambit access. And then having the shackle for Margit and Morgott makes it like very, very free. If you guys want to see some more of this like tutorial, like I guess leave a comment, like tell me, and maybe I'll make like part 2. We'll do like, I don't know, Stormveil and Radagon or something like that. Like, I'm not like a runner of this setup or like this weapon normally. Like I did any percent with the Serpent Hunter, and I'm kind of using that again for all remembrances. But this is a very strong setup, and everybody is really psyched on this. I just wanted to kind of show off a way to route it kind of efficiently. I know that like time-wise that's not great, but if you think about it, we killed 3 bosses technically. We got like a ton of levels early on. We got our weapon fully upgraded. We got an item that'll make 2 bosses basically free. So yeah, it's kind of long, but I mean, Margit will be like a pretty easy kill. Godric will take a little bit of practice, and then you go. Radagon will probably take some practice. But yeah, I mean, let me know. But I think that's a pretty like efficient route to like get through Limgrave, Caelid, and Liurnia, picking up the things you need without having to do like some extra things. But it should work very well for the Iron Balls route, or any smithing stone weapon you may want to do no hit with. Like that route, specifically just the pathing would be nice, I suppose. But anyway, that's it for this tutorial. Thank you guys for watching, and if you want to see me do no-hit runs or hang out or ask questions, I'm streaming on Twitch fairly regularly, usually Tuesdays and Thursdays starting around 10:30 a.m. Central, and then Saturdays I usually do like a longer stream. I'm currently working on All Remembrances hit list in this game with a PB of 2. So anyway, talk to you later. Hope this tutorial is helpful.